In this video, I'll show you how to install Python, how to ensure your operating system knows where Python is, how to execute your code and scripts, and finally, I'll show you how to integrate Python with a modern development environment. To install Python, you need to download the installer, and you can download it on python.org/downloads. You can also go on your favorite search engine and type download Python. The first link should be python.org/downloads. On this page, you can click on the download Python button. And if you want Python for a specific OS, you can also see the different build versions for Windows, Linux, macOS, Android, and others. But in most cases, the website should recognize your operating system, and you can simply click on download Python. Once downloaded, you can open the file, and you should see a window similar to this one. Here there is an important thing to do, and it is to check the add python.exe to path. If you forget to click on this checkbox, your operating system might have a hard time to find where Python is installed. So later down the road, when you will try to interact with Python from a code editor, IDE, or a terminal, you might see error messages saying that Python is not installed on your machine. So be sure this checkbox is checked, and then you can click on Install Now. After some time, you should see a setup was successful, and you should now have Python installed on your machine. But what does it actually mean and how to use Python? You can use Python in different ways. The first way you might want to interact with Python is to type a line of code and have the results directly. And you can do that with idle. If you search for idle, this window should open. So idle is an interactive shell, and idle, IDLE, means integrated development and learning environment. With this prompt, you can type some Python code. Let's write a hello world, and you have the results directly. You can do basic math, and if you're an absolute beginner, this should be good enough to follow most tutorials and discover the language. You can also find this Python interpreter from the terminal. If you know how to use it, you can open either PowerShell or the command prompt and type Python. Now you basically have what you had before, but it will be with your terminal theme. Again, here I can type hello world, call function, declare variables, and do basic math. If you like this interactive way to communicate with Python, you can go even further with what's called notebooks. With Python notebooks, you can have a more visual way to interact with Python, and it's often used by the data visualization, and scientific communities that use Python for their projects. So that was the first way to interact with Python. In this interactive way, you type some code and you have a direct result. But if you want to write scripts, it might be more convenient to write one or multiple lines of code in a file and then execute that file. And you can do that with Python files. Basically, Python files are text files that end with the extension py, and this extension will be recognized by your computer now that you have installed Python, and you can execute these Python files. To create a file, if you don't have an IDE or code editor, you can simply create a new text document, call it, let's say, main.py. If you see that your document looks like a text file, it might be because it is. If you right click on it and show properties, you can see that it's actually a text document, and that's because Windows by default will add the txt extension to Python files. If you want your file to be a Python file with a py extension, you can open a File Explorer window, and then on the three dots, you can click on Options, and in the View tab, look for Hide Extensions for known file type. And you can uncheck Hide Extensions for known file types. Then I click Apply, OK, and now my main.py file has its actual name, that is main.py.txt. With this, I can remove the txt extension, confirm that yes, I want to change the extension, and now the file icon changed. I can see that it's a Python file. To edit this file, you can right-click on it and select Edit in Notepad. It will open as a txt file, and here again we can type print hello world, and then maybe another print. This is Python. Then you can save this file, and now you can execute it. To execute it, you can right-click, open with Python. But the issue is it's a non-blocking program. We don't ask anything, and there's nothing to stop. So the program will execute and then close. To actually know the program's result, you can go back in a terminal, either the command prompt or PowerShell. And in the Windows PowerShell, you can type Python space and then the path to your file. If you know where your file is, you can type its path. Here it would be desktop main.py. And you can also drag and drop your file to have its absolute path. With Python space, the path of your program, you can type enter. And as you can see, this command executed the script and displayed what I wrote in the print functions. So that's great, but when you make larger projects, you might want to use a code editor or an IDE. And some examples are Visual Studio Code. With Visual Studio Code, as it's a generalist code editor, you will need to install a few extensions, Python from Microsoft. And if you want this play button to execute your code directly, another extension called Code Runner. With both extensions, you should have a run Python file button and the ability to run code directly. If I click on run code, once again, I have the results of my scripts. Another popular development environment is PyCharm. It works in a similar way than Visual Studio Code, but it might be a better option if you want to code in Python only. And with this, you have Python installed on your machine, you know how to use it and how to have a modern development environment. Now, the next step would be to actually learn Python. If that's something you want to do, you can click on this video where I'll teach you Python in a practical way with a bit of theory and many projects.